My story is it's a God story, really. So I was brought up in Israel, again in a secular, atheist, typical Jewish Israeli home. So we celebrated the holiday, and something in me always didn't really fully connect to secularism and to my parents' lack of faith in God and in their atheism, and I never really bought into it. So even as a young child, I remember around the Passover table believing in the story of the Exodus and believing that God is real. But again, I didn't know what to do with it. And becoming an Orthodox Jew was never appealing to me. I could see the hypocrisy, the works, and it just kind of, even as a young child, it was kind of a big disconnect for me, and it wasn't appealing, you know. In the schools in Israel, we studied the Old Testament scriptures, even in the secular schools. And as I was learning more about the stories in the Bible, learning more about God from the Old Testament, I was really, really attracted to it, and I loved it, but wasn't really sure what to do with my faith. So believed in God, but just, you know, went to secular, had the secular upbringing. I mean, that's the best I could define it. When I was in the middle of 9th grade, my dad's job moved us from Israel to New York. So I actually went to high school on Long Island, and I graduated from high school there. And then I started attending Stony Brook University, which is a state university of New York school. I was majoring in math. I got a job tutoring students who needed extra help in math on the college campus at Stony Brook. I was just helping this random student with her math, just kind of answering her questions. And just as I'm doing that, she notices that I have an accent when I speak English. And she thought that it was a Russian accent. So she said, "Hey, are you from Russia?" And I said to her, "No, I'm not from Russia. I'm actually from Israel." And she said, "Oh, wow, I've been to Israel. I'm Jewish." And I said, "Oh, that's great. That's wonderful." You know, so we kind of had that in common. And you know, I helped her with her math. We just kind of, you know, just friends. She was very friendly. We continued talking, and she asked me some questions about myself. I asked her some questions about herself, and just in the process of that conversation, she tells me, "Hey, you know, I'm Jewish, but I believe in Yeshua." Now, you know, I'm fluent in Hebrew, right? That's my mother's tongue. You know, Yeshua is a word that I recognize, right? Yeshua is the word in Hebrew for salvation. So I say, "You believe in Yeshua, but I mean, that's not a name, you know, because Yeshua is salvation. So who do you believe in? Who is Yeshua that you believe in?" And she tells me Yeshua is actually the Hebrew name for Jesus. And I was like, wow, wait a second, I've never heard that before. First time. I didn't know that his Hebrew name was salvation, you know? And I'm like, okay, I gotta find out more. I never met somebody who's Jewish and believes in Jesus. It's first time, right? I'm like, I'm shocked. It's new thing. So I was really interested. And now that was, our first meeting was like on a Friday afternoon, and I kind of had to go and she had to go. So we said, "Hey, let's meet on Monday on campus. Let's have lunch together." And she says, "Yeah, absolutely." They said, "I want to know more about this faith that you believe in."
So you were open.
Yeah, I was curious.
Okay.
I was open, curious. I didn't really know. I mean, it's like, wow, I've never heard of such a thing. So on Monday we met for lunch, and she comes to this lunch and she's holding this book, a Bible, you know, strange. Anyway, we sit down, we have lunch, and she starts opening up this Bible to me, and she reads to me different prophecies about the Messiah. Now, honestly, some of these prophecies, as she's reading them, it sounds very familiar to me. You know, I know we can talk more about Chabad, but you know what I mean, there was a big push for this one sect within Orthodox Judaism called Chabad, about this rabbi in Israel. So they were talking a lot about Messiah, son of David, you know, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course. And she shows me, hey, look, it needs to be from the line of David, you know, and the tribe of Judah. So I kind of recognize it. I'm like, yeah, I know, whatever, right? This is great. And then she opens up to me this prophecy in Isaiah. She's like, look, this is what Isaiah talks about Messiah, and of course it's Isaiah 53. And as we're reading it, I'm like, wow, the Messiah would be sacrificed. The Messiah would die for sin. I mean, it's so clearly there. And she says, absolutely. So then she goes to the New Testament and she shows me pretty much how Yeshua fulfilled all these prophecies. He's from the line of David, the tribe of Judah. Look, he died for the sins of humanity, and she basically shares this awesome gospel with me, and of course concludes with the resurrection and says, so what do you think? So I say, wow, this all fits. This is all amazing. And I say to her, hey, what are my parents going to think about this? Right? Because I mean, it all made such perfect sense that I'm like, I believe in this,